Okay guys, today I'm going to go over something pretty important I think for overall development and training, and it's going to be the hinge movement. So pretty common in CrossFit, especially in CrossFit classes, or if you're training by yourself as well, that you know how to hinge and what muscles we're primarily trying to use. In a class, more often than not, I come across a flexed position here. Is a flex position a bad thing all the time? Definitely not. I'd say it definitely fits into regular environments in life in general. But to be as powerful as we want to be, especially in something like a deadlift or a clean or a kettlebell swing, it's important that our spine looks a little bit more neutral. My top is a little bit baggy. It's kind of hard to see my spine on this one, but instead of flex position happening, which you can kind of see in my T-spine here, which will happen in my L-spine down here as well, a little bit more extension in the spine is going to be a little bit stronger. It's important to know we don't want overextension, which would be more like this piece. Ooh, yeah, that's going to kind of hurt our back as well. So a neutral spine is usually the term you'll hear, where when I'm hinged over, I'm using my hips to hinge from. And you'll also notice as well, if I see it better from this angle, that my knees will naturally bend in a hip hinge. We don't want to hinge at the hips and then the knees stay really straight. That will result in a flexed back as well. So where I'm going to start is with the kettlebell. This is important because sometimes with a barbell, we can get a little bit distracted on positioning with the feet, where to grab the bar, and if the weight on the bar is too light or too heavy, that can dictate how we learn the hinge as well. So the kettlebell is where I like to start because the kettlebell is very simple. It's going to be the same start position as a kettlebell swing, which a lot of people have done before as well. So picking it up is the most important thing. So what I'm going to try and teach most people when they're learning how to hinge here will be bending their knees, because that's going to help me keep my back straighter straight away. So right from the start, I'm in a better position. When I grab the kettlebell, I'm going to keep my elbows pretty straight, and I'm really thinking of, okay, is my chest up here? The most important part is that my chest isn't down. What's going to happen if my chest is down all the time, my hips will go first, and then I'll lift, which is not going to be great when we're going for a heavy lift, which we'll get to on the bar in a second. What I want to do is drive my hips into the floor a little bit more, almost like a squat, but it's not a squat, very similar. Hips are going to go down. I'm going to drive the floor away with my legs. Boom. Now it becomes a leg dominant movement. Legs, legs, legs. And you'll find that if you can actually do that with your legs, you're going to be stronger overall. Now we're figuring out where the muscle group that we're working the most is coming from. It's the legs, you've guessed it, and it's going to be your glutes. So I hip hinge at my glutes, and then I drive the floor away by squeezing my knee, squeezing my bum. The glutes are going to be activated. So that's what we're looking for there. Bring it out into a bar. So I get this out of the way. Onto the barbell. Yeah, I'm using an 8-kilo bar. Don't judge me. Easiest to set up for coaches when we're teaching this kind of thing. So now I'm onto the bar. The position is going to be the same. The only difference here is that, yes, it's a barbell. So how I grab it is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be outside of my knees this time. But the first thing I need to think of is that deeper position to help me get into a hinge. What I don't want to do is grab the bar, and then I don't want to pull it from here. Yeah, I want to think, okay, I got to get my hips a little bit lower to give me a chance to use my legs. Hips down, I'm going to drive the floor away with the legs. Squeeze. What we see commonly enough as well is, oh, I'm going to do a deadlift, I'm going to send my bum forward. Don't think that, or my hips forward. We don't want to think like that because it's going to send my back into a super extended position, which is very weak as well. So it's going to cause an injury somewhere along the line. So I'm going to drive the floor away with the legs and just think about opening here and squeezing my bum. Squeeze. A lot of this power occurs after the bar passes the knee, not before. If it happens before the bar passes the knee, a flex position will probably occur when you're at 80-90% of your 1 rep max. So I'm going to think a little bit slower, fast as I get past the knee, and that'll drive the deadlift home. So takeaways: a lower hip position is better in something like a deadlift, and also we need to bend the knees for that to occur. If that doesn't happen, we're going to end up in that flex back position. That's when you get back tweaking, lower back, T-spine stuff happening as well. So making sure when you're setting yourself up for a deadlift or a hinge movement in the future, that's how you start. If you need to, start with the kettlebell. That's really, really going to help as well. Any questions, pop them my way, guys. Thanks for watching.